You're now locked onto the Pulse Radio Show with Marcus Myers, X-Tina, and Ken Pyle. And on the 1 and 2s, Big Red the DJ. It's the Pulse Radio Show, baby. Believe that.
Touring engineer for A$AP Rocky, J. Cole, Brandy, Snoop Dogg, Crystal K. Not sure who that is, but sounds famous.
Stop. I just had to drop a bomb there.
Yeah, go on, drop a bomb. Mary, Arturo Topping.
Stop.
Michael Jackson, Beyonce. Nah, no, just kidding. but when you hold this back, I mean,
you know what? I guess we're all playing with that challenge sometimes. Talking about yourself as a creative is very, very hard.
Yeah, I find that creatives are coming here real humble. Diego coming here real humble. You know, you hear. But
we were, especially behind the scenes people, you know, we prefer to just stay in the studio. It's dark, you know, dark room all the time. Just work, you know. So
okay, well, let's get into that though, because well,
good to be here, by the way. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for having you.
Yeah, right. But we want to get into your new song, but before we get into that, before we get into that though, touring engineer for all of these artists.
Yes.
Put me in that mindset when you're just touring with some of the biggest superstars in the world.
So some of the projects I was touring engineer and production manager, right? And what that means is, you know, I'm in charge of the setting the show up, making sure the show gets from city to city, and make sure that the crew, the buses, you know, or the container trucks, they arrive from city to city on time, and everything's set up on time, and sound check happens on time. So that in itself is a very serious dynamic, because you have to, you know, traffic, everything. You know what I mean? You drive into the city, you don't know what's gonna happen. You gotta manage a crew.
You gotta deal with all the roadies and stuff like that.
You gotta deal with everything. So
how a little young boy from Barbados could get, you know, all these big names on his resume?
I mean, just one thing led to another.
So where is the place that it started?
The first gig I got was Brandy. A guy said to me, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "Nothing." He said, "I want you to come to Philadelphia with me." I was like, "Okay."
In Barbados, he like
no. I was in LA. I was living in LA at the time. So he was like, "I want you to come to Philadelphia with me." I said, "Okay." And
just so like a random man?
No, there's a friend of mine that I met in the studio, because I also a student. I was also a producer. Not random man. A guy was producing that.
Marcus.
What is your name? Come with me, sir. We're going to Philadelphia.
A good friend of mine.
And a pile with no windows.
What are you doing tomorrow? We're producers. We work in the studio previously, so I met him, and then he was like, "Yeah, I need some help tomorrow in Philadelphia." I said, "Okay." That's the first thing I always try to do. I always try to say yes to everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I went to Philadelphia. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I went there, and we were performing in one of their venues there. And then while I was setting up, I was asking him, you know, what are we doing here? And he was like, "Oh, you make some brand?" And I was like, "Okay."
We were talking about that about rappers just now. Let's talk about the rapper life when you went with A$AP Rocky. What was that like?
Very challenging. You know, I mean, that rapper life is no joke. You know, and that is like.
Elaborate, expound, explain.
Expound. Okay. I mean, is everything you see is you gotta make sure he's on time. You know, he would come to me and say, "Yo, I had a wild party last night. Sorry for being late. You know, I just got up at 4 o'clock." You know, is that the same as that thing? Is
it the same thing that we see on TV, like popping pills and like drinking a lot?
I mean, you know, there are a couple of pills being popped. I mean, that is part of it, but
not you though. You're not popping no pills.
I'm not pill popping.
You want to bitch and boys popping no pills. You watch him man pop the pills. You don't pop no pills.
I don't even have to watch that. You know what I mean? It's just part of what goes on. It's a culture, right? So,
and of course, you know that how should I say? There's a flock of ladies. How should I say?
The ladies everywhere, but not even just in hip hop, in any music. You know what I mean? Whatever if it's Brandy, we had an amazing crew of ladies. You know, and that's one thing I did love with Brandy. You know, they came in and you know, just to see her and to be with and just witness her talent. You know, but yeah, with A$AP, tons of ladies.
Right, I mean, like, and women love A$AP Rocky. So I mean, there was like, so you would have been like, see, look, Christian's visiting.
Present.
So were you in any way impacted by the groupie life?
Never. No. I think the thing is that you always have to remember that this is not real, right? And that's one thing I keep reminding myself every time I travel. When I started at 18, you know, I realized that this is not real. This is just something that I do as a job, and I go home to reality after that. You know, and what I do here will impact my reality if I allow it to. So no matter where I go in the world, you don't know who you don't know who you're running into. I've never seen these women before. I don't know anything. So those are all the things you got to consider. But that's personal. That's a personal choice, And that's one of the things that also kept me working is that I was always, even though I'm not much of a sleeper, so I was always be the first one to go to bed, make sure everything was good. I'm the first one to get up, and that was important, because I had to be sharp. If he's late and he comes high or whatever, I can't be the one that's late or coming high.
Right, of course.
He's expecting me, he's paying me to make sure that stuff happens, right?
But speaking of being high, one of the most popular people in the world for being high, Snoop Dogg.
Right.
So how much secondhand smoke did you inhale being around?
I mean, he's literally, the persona it speaks for himself. You go into his dressing room and there are, everywhere we go is literally, table of marijuana.
Seriously?
Yeah, literally every city we go to.
But how do you, a lot of people would succumb to that, the fact that it's there, it's available, but it doesn't seem like you ever really.
No, I'm just saying, it's part of who he is, and you just have to remember that this is your boss. This is and what you do with him it's not hanging out with your boys. It's not hanging out, and it's still a job.
Professional,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you got to be professional,
right.
And I think that's just the approach. Whatever he does is up to him. He's afforded that right because he's who he is. So it's a job.
Okay, so before we get onto the song, I want to hear what is the craziest experience that you would have had on when you were touring with anybody that you were like, wait, nah, this can't be real life, boy.
I mean, I've seen all sorts of things. I mean, one of the craziest things, we did Wireless Festivals, which is one of the big festivals in Europe and England. And we had after our set, ASAP's crew had a fight with somebody backstage, and that made BBC News that night. They were having a big fight with someone backstage, which was all over. And I got called because I gotta make sure everything is good, right? So it was kind of crazy. I mean, I've seen those are some things, and some things obviously I can't say, but I've seen some stuff. Yeah.
So the things that you can't say, can you actually say them though?
No, I can't say.
Well, okay. I thought I could reverse it.
What do you mean?
But that's part of. So that was one part of what I did, in addition to production, in addition to stuff. So it's all just blends back to blend into yourself, right? The key with working with those guys is just remember it's a profession, remember it's a job, be professional, and just does it.
All right, last question before we get to the song. Is there anybody that you really, really, really want to work with?
My passion is always developing artists, and that's where it came from. So from back in the day of, stuff I did with our local artists here, it's something that I take pride in. Working with artists in the studio is one thing. Crystal K, you mentioned, was a Japanese artist. She's a big J-pop artist that I work with.
Okay.
So I wrote songs with her. And then also working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis at that time, I also wrote a bunch of songs with them, right? So I was in-house producer and songwriter for them.
That was nice.
So that was one of the things. So I am always about developing artists, and for me, that's why I love what we have here, and I love the talent we have here. And so yeah, that's something I take pride in.
Great.
So I can't say there's one in particular. I love that because it allows you to be more creative.
Right.
It allows you to kind of really mold a song from the beginning, as opposed to working with an established artist who's already locked into a particular type or a particular pattern.
Right. Okay, but let's get into the song that you have produced. I think it's for a Bahamian artist.
Yeah, so it's a song that is coming out on my EP. I'm going to release a bunch of music this year. I release tons of music all year round. I probably do like average of 30 to 40 songs a year.
Wow.
40 songs a year, within that. So this is one of the new releases I'm going to be doing. There's a Bahamian artist called Kay that I met in Toronto. She is an amazing songwriter, amazing vocalist. So this is a record we did together. We wrote maybe 4 songs in a day.
Oh wow.
So it's one of 4.
Brandy, do we have the song we can play it right now?
Surely.
Yeah, if you're into R&B music, this is R&B for those who are into that kind of classic R&B music.
I always gotta move for R&B, man. If you were like a tour manager or something, how would you advise Drake to move?
I mean, I would tell him, be careful, because you don't want it to get too serious. Pusha T is not Meek Mills.
Right.
Pusha T is really well connected. Being the president of good music. Really well connected with Pharrell and very powerful people in the industry. So it's not like Meek Mills.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too.
You gotta be very careful.
Yeah, I was thinking about the fact that the thing about Drake is that Drake he's a brand. Right?
He's a brand, yeah.
I have to think about the fact that you could be putting your brand in jeopardy if you go into this into the depths and into the grind with the other rappers. You understand?
Especially Pusha T, because Pusha T is known for doing that. You know, he's a kind of a, he's very confrontational type rapper. So that's this thing, you know, from the clips.
Right.
You know, so him and his brother. So that is, people expect that from him. And he has that leeway, you know, being the president of good music, and you know, with Pharrell, you know. So I don't know. It's gonna be. I don't know how he's gonna do it. That's true. I know what you're gonna say.
Do you still talk to A$AP Rocky?
No. I mean, the truth is, it's just, you know.
I
had to remove myself from that situation. I got a little crazy.
All the narcotics, it's too much.
I don't know. I know. Let's just listen and see if I had to remove myself.
Let's just leave the hour in.
What about Snoop Dogg?
I still talk to that camp. It's a good camp. That camp is a fantastic camp.
But say what though? Like, what do you talk to Snoop Dogg about?
I mean, I've seen him. I was on tour with a girl called I just forget her name now. She's like a pop artist.
Obviously, she ain't that relevant.
No, she's actually pretty big. She's huge, man. Kanye West. I'm trying to remember her name now. It's just Kanye West.
Taylor?
No. Kanye West sampled one of her songs with Jay-Z in it. I forget her name now. She's from New York.
Are you serious? Did you think you went? You think?
Not. Was it? I forget.
I'm excited.
we were in Germany, or we were somewhere, and I saw the crew, and every time we see them, it's like we go to dinner, we hang out, you know, it's always a great vibe. Them, J. Cole, great crew, great people, great. J. Cole's fantastic. J. Cole's the guy who used to come to rehearsals and ride to work on a bicycle.
Seriously?
Yeah,
but he's really down to earth.
Very down to earth, regular guy. I mean, this guy would, you know, cars at his house, you know what I mean? He would leave everything in the house and just ride. He said, I said, you rode today? I said, yeah, man, today was just a good day. Just want to ride.
So you still talk to Rihanna?
I never talked to Rihanna. I don't know Rihanna.
So you know J. Cole, you know A$AP Rocky, but you don't know the girl that basically went.
What's it? I try to remember her name. Her name is I just forget her name. Just slipped my mind. You know when you're talking about something, you know, it just slipped your mind.
Yeah. But she was sampled by Kanye and Jay.
Yeah, there's a song that Kanye, Jay's
Beyonce?
No, remember that song Swag Like Us? What's her name?
M.I.A?
Is it M.I.A?
Yeah. It's M.I.A.
Right.
Yeah, it's M.I.A. Yeah.
You were. How did you forget that?
I just forget.
M.I.A. is incredible.
They're all incredible, but I just forget.
So Eliseus, when are you gonna get some of these superstars on the show?
Pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
I want to show Eliseus.
I don't know.
Can we call J. Cole right now?
No,
get her phone.
definitely not.
We'll pay these like
Real fanboys in here.
No, but he's a very down to earth guy though. If you guys ever meet him, he's just a regular.
I did meet him once.
Yeah.
After Rihanna's show, she had a catamaran cruise.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy looks familiar. No bitches. We don't be Jackie and all.
Sure,
I'm like,
sure.
it took me a while, and I was like, oh shoot, it's J. Cole. So then we actually had a conversation. He's really cool.
Really down to earth. I mean, there's a guy that would get up. I mean, his schedule was crazy. His schedule was radio every morning. So he would get up at 5, radio every morning. I would have to set his studio up. So he had a studio on his bus. So I would set his studio up. He would work from, and he would have a chalkboard. We have a whiteboard. He would have all the projects he had to work on. And we would, like, he would have to lay verses. Janet Jackson's song that came out, that he did that verse on.
Yeah,
he did that on tour,
right.
He was on tour with me. So we had that, he had to do the verses for that and stuff like that. So
you watched him record that verse?
I didn't watch him record it. I would set it up, set up the studio, make sure everything was good for him. So when he finished, so 5 o'clock in the morning start, radio interviews. He would have a meet and greet that would take him right down from 10 after radio interviews and 10 till about 1, 2. He would then do a little, couple other little special meet and greets where people pay special money to come and thing with him. We have sound check. He will leave sound check, do more meet and greets up till 5. Showtime is around 7:30. Doors open. The guy has not eaten yet. He's now eating just on the way, and then does a show, 2-hour show. Then after that goes and greet more people outside who waiting, fans who come pay for meet and greets. He will go and meet them, stand outside the bus, bathe, stand outside the bus and just greet them and stay for another 2 hours. Then get on the bus and then record all night long.
Do you ever see him writing? Like writing?
Yeah. And a reader, that man's a ridiculous reader, boy. That guy reads like, I didn't know that, you know what I mean? So you go on the bus, he has books, just all types of books on all types of literature on, you know, black history and all sorts of stuff. He's a very ferocious reader.
So what is his, how long does it take him to record like a song? Like for that verse, you probably weren't there for when he was.
Yeah, I wasn't there for you to record,
right.
But he's very quick. He's very quick, but he's very meticulous because he's a perfectionist, right?
Right.
Yeah. He's very
So tell me something. If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing now?
music. I mean, I love cooking. That's probably something I would do. I'd probably be a chef. I love cooking.
You
Just
can't
about.
tell Eliseus.
Oh man.
Whoa! So what is your favorite like delicacy that you like? Your favorite dish?
I mean, I love Bajan food. I love breadfruit cuckoo. But I do like because I've traveled, you know, so much. I love things from all over the world, you know. So, you know, but I just love cooking anything, you know, fish, chicken. I'm not pork eater at all. Pork don't touch my mouth at all.
One Babylon.
But
I can ask you a personal question.
sure.
You don't have to. It's a good personal question.
We're like,
But it's personal.
go ahead.
On air.
How much money you as me as a record producer, Eliseus?
No comment.
10 G's.
No
I'm cut.
comment.
Alright, 20 G's.
No comment.
Give me $20.
You want to hear something? Somebody asked me why it is that Ken chose me to ask like majority of the questions while he's not. This is the reason why. Exactly. This is the reason why. When Ken is just be, you know, when Ken is be thinking and he moves to be turning, he just take it as, you know what? What is your salary? What do you make? Show me your bank statements. Anyway,
Show me the money.
show me the money.
No. Listen, he worked with Chart talking nowadays. I mean, he's on his way to get a Grammy too. He didn't tell you that, but you know, he's on his way to get a Grammy.
And to jump down to the bottom line, you just malicious.
Yeah, but that too. I am a BHN.
Right.
So, anyways, back to Eliseus.
I mean, you get paid well, you know what I mean? When you go on those tours, you know.
Alright, so we have to wrap, but just tell us which song is it that you could be nominated for a Grammy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can't just
Potentially.
How hard has... I know the answer to the question, but I want you to say, how hard does a producer have to work towards getting a Grammy?
Extremely hard. It's not easy. It's very hard.
Eliseus, thanks for passing through.
Thanks for having me, guys. Again.